So that's something to really focus on because there's a lot of bad energy going on. So let's focus on the good and the beautiful of what's happening. We have the science and we have the resources for a green revolution. But we really do need to feel the sacredness of our earth and the connection that we have to it. It's very important. We're in a place right now of great transformative change. And this can open up new opportunities. And it will open up new ways of living, and particularly for young people. You're going to live differently than we have lived. And we're going to talk through some of this tonight. So, in his Laudato Si, what an incredible human being. Pope Francis said, "We need a conversation which includes everyone. Since the environmental challenge we are undergoing and its human roots concern and affect us all, we require a new and universal solidarity." Isn't it so great that we're here tonight in an interfaith group gathering? We together can change the world. Now from the New Testament, we hear, "When I was a child, I spoke and thought and reasoned as a child. But when I grew up, I put away childish things." We can no longer walk through this world without considering our effects on it. And individually, all of us, and collectively, are responsible for this sacred earth. Every one of you and myself, we are all very much responsible for this. Every choice we make, whether it's what we eat, the energy we use, how we make our purchases, all of our choices will affect our sacred and beautiful home. Commentary on Hebrew scripture: "Look at my works, how beautiful and praiseworthy they are. Everything that I have created, I created for you. Take care not to damage and destroy my world. For if you destroy it, there is no one to repair it after you." Are we the last species? I don't know. But this shows God's love for this earth, and it shows our profound responsibility for this gift given. And from the Hindu tradition, we hear, "How can I be of service? How can my service become an act of worship to honor and to praise?" We've all been called into the service of the sacredness of life. Think of it. It's sacred. It's beautiful. But if we think of the earth just as the environment around us, drove here, got here, we're in this room, whatever, we experience ourselves and the earth as separate. And many of us see this planet just in terms of what it can do for them. The story we are taught by our culture has been one of growth and expansion. It has. Think about it. We can keep doing this stuff. It's fine. In the past century, we've built lives based on resource consumption, environmental degradation. We've been told that more is better. Get the latest and best version, the new improved. Well, like it or not, this is where and how we all live. I live that way. I try not to, but this just keeps being poured onto us, and it's very difficult. So we need to look with fresh eyes upon this beautiful earth that we have and find the joy in everyday moments. Listening to the bells. We need to give ourselves over to the presence of holiness, the gifts given. In the sacred writings of Islam, we hear, "The world is beautiful and verdant, and verily God, be he exalted, has made you his stewards in it." Well, this is a more wholesome view than the one prescribed by today's markets and media, which has become our new altar. In the last 100 plus years, we've seen a dependence on fossil fuels that have spun us out of control. A problem comes when it creates unleashed desires. And the Buddhists teach us that simply to pursue desires with no higher aim is to become a slave to desire. I love it. It's wonderful. We're not going to be a slave. We'll try not to, but it's hard. And this can only lead to the misfortune of oneself and others. All of our traditions teach us to look around outside of ourselves, to the interconnectedness of life. Long before there were churches and temples, people experienced God in and through the natural world. People knew firsthand their connection to place. As Chief Seattle said, humankind has not woven a life, the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. All things are bound together. All things connect. By embracing our ancient traditions with scientific knowledge, we can create a more just and sustainable world. 9 planetary boundaries. Woo, my goodness, let's go all the way back here. Nope, I lost it. We have 9 planetary boundaries on this planet, and we have passed 6 of them already. So we're going to take a brief look at a few of the concerns. And we'll get just a glimpse because each of these concerns is really a story of its own and a big study. So let's take a look at energy. Energy is probably the most number one thing that we need to think about. Everything in our universe, everything manifest, you, me, the table, everything manifest is made from energy. Mike, you know that, right? So, transitioning from hydrocarbon to renewable energy won't change this dynamic. That's what energy is. We need to use energy differently. We need to live differently. And it's hard for us because especially us that are older, we've lived this way. It's very hard, but it's going to be up to the young people. Another on today's altar, economics. What does that have to do with creation care? Well, think about this. If we grow the economy at 3% a year, which is the typical US GDP, although it's dropped down this year, the estimates are dropping down, we would use as much energy and materials in the next 30 years as we have in the past 10,000 years, which was the beginning of agrarian society. Unlimited growth on this planet does not and will not work. Another concern, air and water. We can only survive a short time without healthy air and water. And the Quran says, I hope I can find this, let's see, yes. And we made the sky a protected ceiling, but they, from its signs, are turning away. This is an actual photograph of the planet Earth, and that's our atmosphere. We're putting 162 million tons of man-made pollution into this beautiful, tiny, thin atmosphere every 24 hours. Hydrocarbon is the main cause, but agriculture, burning of forests, thawing of the permafrost, industrial activities, petrochemicals are all part of this story. This is a big picture. So every little change that you make helps. Every little change you make helps. And collectively it expands. Last year, we saw temperatures of 101 degrees off the Florida coast. These temperatures are affecting our marine life and our coral reefs. How pretty the coral reefs. They are massive sequesters of carbon. They do a lot of good for us. So our water management is crucial, and how we manage our water is very crucial. Our ocean and our acidification hasn't passed the planetary boundary yet. Only 0.5% of the water on Earth is available fresh water, only 0.5%. Of the 8 billion people on this earth, 2 billion don't have access to fresh, safe drinking water. And roughly half of the population of this world is experiencing severe water scarcity at least part of the year. And I bet you everyone in this room has experienced water scarcity. We have. Over the last 50 years, each decade has become hotter. We see extreme weather events like droughts and floods. The recent one in North Carolina, we saw how that hurricane came in and then just pushed through floods all through the east and southeast. Our hurricanes are now at higher cat rates with longer seasons. All of this is affecting us today, not in 10 years, today. So to bring this a little closer to home, we can look at our recent fires. Lives have been lost, and lives forever changed. And we may know some people that have lost their homes. And some cannot afford the cost to rebuild. They're leaving. They can't afford it. And many of us, probably in this very room, I for one, have had insurance canceled. Extreme wildfire, according to the UN, is expected to increase 30% over the next few decades. And the Wall Street Journal says the cost of natural disasters is $417 billion a year worldwide. So how does all this affect our health? Today we see increased respiratory, cardiovascular, infectious diseases. And to give you an example, residents in Cancer Alley, for those of you that don't know where Cancer Alley is, it's the 85-mile stretch of the Mississippi River between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, have a 95% greater chance of developing cancer than the average American. And this is due to the toxic chemicals and air pollution that they live with daily. What we choose and what we value will become our future. And indeed, it has become our present. Hebrew scripture reminds us, let's see, there it is. I brought you into a fertile land to eat its fruit and rich produce. But you came and defiled my land and made my inheritance detestable. Defiled land. Defiled land causes climate migration. Over the next 30 years, 143 million people are likely to be uprooted because of rising sea levels, droughts, and searing temperature. War and conflict are also significant drivers of forced migration. And on the climate side, military activities, their destruction of ecosystems, and the cost of rebuilding account for approximately 5.5% of the global greenhouse gases. Just war. Well, all this information really means nothing if our hearts are not engaged. What matters is who we are, how we live, and care for our world. If you've not visited the resource tables, please do so afterwards. You can see and share many of the ways that you can be a blessing to this world, and you can. But as for now, we don't know what the future will bring. We have no idea if proposed policies and practices will prove successful. Thomas Merton, the Trappist monk, instructs us to concentrate not on the results, but on the value, the rightness, and the truth of the work itself. And Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." So I ask you, how will you show up? Moving from head to heart will allow for the presence of God to influence us. bringing a heart and a hand of loving compassion to earth stewardship and celebrating the gifts given. The psalmist writes, "Let the heavens rejoice and be glad. Let the sea roar and all that fills it. Let the field exult and everything in it. Then shall all the trees of the forest sing for joy." Well, my thought for you is that you take into your heart where we are now on this journey, our journey, and let us join in loving compassion for the web of life. As the Cree prophecy says, when the earth is sick and dying, there will come a tribe from all races who will put their faith in deeds, not words, and make the planet green again. Thank you.